I'm going to be making an asparagus salad with fried sage, and this is really one of my favorite dishes to do when asparagus is in season. It's great because you can either roast or grill the asparagus, and you can serve it warm or room temperature, but it just makes a beautiful presentation on a buffet table. And I start with asparagus. This is sort of a medium-sized asparagus. If it's very fat, I'll peel it, but this seems to be just right for roasting today. And I'm going to cut the bottom quarter of the spears off. Some people like to break them off, but I find it's just a lot easier to take the whole bunch and cut the bottom off. I'm going to be putting it on a roasting pan or a baking sheet. And I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on it. So some extra virgin olive oil and just a little bit of salt. So just pour that right over. A little bit of kosher salt. And then some chopped sage, and I'll show you what the sage looks like when I prepare it for frying, but I've got some chopped up there. And then I'll just take my tongs and toss it up. I just want to coat all the spears a little bit with the oil, and we'll be set to go. So I can either put this on a grill, which is really delicious because it takes on that extra kind of smoky grilled flavor, or I can just put it in a hot oven. So I can put it in a 450-degree oven. It takes about 5 minutes. Now you can tell when the asparagus is done if you just pick up one of the spears, and when it's limp and it bends a little bit, then it's cooked enough. Next thing I'm going to do is fry the sage, which is kind of the fun part. And so I've got some oil that's heated to about 300 degrees. And it's just nice canola oil. I've got that ready, and then I've got my sage here. And this is sage that we just harvested from the garden, and it's this variety of sage is called garden sage, which is just like the old-fashioned sage. And this kind of sage blooms in the spring, and the flowers are some of my favorite edible flowers. They have this sweet flavor and a little bit like the sage leaf, but just a beautiful garnish. We don't have any today, but you can see what the leaves look like. They're much thinner than some of the other varieties, and that's what I like about the garden sage also. Some of the other varieties have very thick, felty leaves, but I really like the light, thin leaves of the garden sage, and it's really a nice one to fry. So I'm just taking the leaves off just like that, and I leave a little bit of stem at the bottom. It doesn't really matter. I've got about 30 leaves here, and that's enough for the salad. And to fry the sage, you just make sure that the leaves are dry. So if I washed it earlier, I want to pat them off with paper towels. And then I'm just going to put them all at once into this oil. It's going to make a bit of a noise, but it won't splatter. So there they go. And really, you just want to fry them until they stop making noise, and that's how you know when they're done. And they're going to crisp up, and they get beautiful and translucent. And once you fry the sage, like if you try to nibble on a raw sage leaf, it's a little bit astringent and not that great on your tongue, but once they're fried, they get kind of crisp and nutty and light. They're a beautiful garnish. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of salt on them. All right, and the next thing I'm going to do is to prepare the dressing. Get this hot oil out of the way. All right, and so I've got a nice big bowl to toss the salad in. I've got about 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. I've got about a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and then I'm going to use the zest of about a 1/2 lemon. So I'll just use this plane here, and I like to use these sort of upside down and to rub the plane over the lemon instead of the other way around. And that goes in there. I'm just going to whisk it up. And then I'm just going to toss the asparagus in with that. So get nice and coated. And so if you grill or roast it, you can just let the asparagus sit at room temperature, and then right before you serve it, you can go ahead and put it in the dressing. Just toss that up, and then I've got a platter to put it out on. And oval platters work really nicely with the with the sprigs. And you can just arrange it out like that. Kind of fan it out a little bit. There we go. And the next thing I'm going to do is shave some Parmesan Reggiano on. And you want to use a really nice high quality Parmesan cheese. You just take the block in your hand, and I'm just using a peeler. I really like these horizontal peelers. And you can just make shavings of it right over the top. And nice long shavings. And if they're too big, you can kind of just break them up a little bit. And so you've got the Parmesan cheese and then this beautiful fried sage. And the combination of the lemon, the sage, and the Parmesan cheese just works really nicely with this. And there you are, that's ready for the buffet.